You are tuned into Be Bold Radio, breaking barriers over lives daily. This is the place for you to learn strategies and tools to turn your business, your dreams, and your goals into a reality. Thanks for tuning in to Be Bold Radio. This is your host, Dymeata B, and you're listening to episode number 100. So guys, this is the 100th episode, and I am deeply, deeply excited about this episode because I've come a long way. I've come a long way and have a long way to go. And what I've learned about this podcast is it's not only therapeutic for me, but it's been therapeutic and helpful for other people listening. And so I'm so excited that I've made it to the 100th episode, and I will be going further and further with our episodes because I'm finding that this podcast has been very, very helpful and convenient for people, especially stay-at-home moms, especially those who are trying to transition from working a regular job to entrepreneurship. But today I want to talk about becoming successful as an entrepreneur. How to become successful as an entrepreneur. And I have a lot of entrepreneur listeners, a lot of people who work day jobs and they work a full-time job, but they're an entrepreneur part-time, but they want to become an entrepreneur full-time. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to those who are frustrated in being an entrepreneur. You're frustrated about not making the money that you thought you could make. I'm talking to those people who are they feel stuck. They feel complacent and stagnant in their growth. I am talking to you today, and I want to give you 5 tips on becoming successful as an entrepreneur. And those of you following me and who have followed me for some time, you know that I am a mom and an entrepreneur. I've worked in ministry all my life, and when I went to college, that's when I discovered my entrepreneurial gift. And so I began to take action. In 2011 is when I really began to take action to finding my way and discovering my gift and discovering that I can make and create my own wealth, and I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. And so today I want to talk about how to become successful as an entrepreneur. So those of you listening, tune in and jot down these 5 tips on how to become an entrepreneur successfully. And if you are an entrepreneur, how to remain a successful entrepreneur, okay? The first one is you just have to make a decision. You have to make a decision that this is what you're going to do. This is what you are going to spend the rest of your life doing, creating wealth. The Bible says that he's given us the power to get wealth and to obtain wealth. So it's like God has given you, he's created the resources for you. He's created the sources for you. And all you have to do is discover and learn what it is that you need to build and create wealth, because God has really he's given you everything. He's created all of the resources for you. If someone else has done it, that's evidence that it can be done again. So you have to make a quality decision that I'm going to do this. This is what I want to do. I want to create my own stream of income. I want to create, a comfortable lifestyle for me and my family. I want to create time with my family. I want to create the wealth and financial freedom for my family. I am decided. I am committed to this no matter what. And when you make a decision to commit to this, no matter what, you're going to see success, true success. A lot of people, they say they want to do this, but they really haven't made a conscious decision and a conscious commitment. And they haven't become married to their gift, married to their business. And you must, just like any relationship, any marriage, it doesn't feel good every day. Your spouse is not going to make you feel good every day. They're not going to make you happy every day. You're just like your business. You have to become married to it. And it's not going to be, apples and oranges every day. It's not going to be sweet every day. And so you have to decide to make a commitment no matter what. When the sales are high and when the sales are low, when you don't have any customers and when you do have customers, when you do feel stagnant and when you do feel like you're in motion and you're moving forward, you have to remain consistent and commit to it, just like a marriage or relationship. Okay. The second tip is, you have to go all in. You can't be, half in and half out. You can't be, you jumping the fence with becoming an entrepreneur. This is serious business. And I know for me, I have no choice but to be all in. My husband has no choice but to be all in. We both decided to make a transition in our jobs. He decided to make a transition in his job. We didn't want to rely on a paycheck. We wanted to create multiple streams of income. And we could not do that and cannot remain that way if we're half in and half out. So you have to go all in. You can't dibble and dabble with being an entrepreneur. You know, you can't say one day, you know, I'm going to be my own boss. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you don't commit to it. Like I said in the first tip, you have to be all in about this. And sometimes you're going to have to lose sleep. Sometimes there are times that I didn't even go to bed. Like I kissed everybody goodnight and I went downstairs to the family room and I worked almost until 5 o'clock in the morning. There are times that you're going to have to sacrifice. When you're all in, sacrifice is evident. Sacrifice is very important when being a successful entrepreneur. The third tip is you have to become a student. And what student in what? Number one, a student in marketing. You have to master marketing in your business. If someone else is doing it, you have to know that it can be done again. I keep telling you that. Don't think that just because someone else is marketing a product or a business or a service that you are doing, don't stop there. Learn from that. Learn from that person. Learn from that individual. Learn from that business. But you have to become a student. You can never stop learning. I cannot stress that enough. You can never stop learning. And, you know, I tell the story when I go and I speak at different conferences and meetings. When I was in college, you know, I dropped out of college and my parents didn't know that I dropped out of college. I would get up, get dressed like I was going to school, and I wouldn't go to school. I would go to Barnes and Noble. And so when I would go to Barnes and Noble, I would sit there for hours, like all day. I had enough to buy me a cup of coffee or a caramel macchiato. I had enough to do that and maybe some fruit or some chips or something like that. And I would sit in Barnes and Noble for hours and just read on entrepreneurship. At the time, I wanted to start my own restaurant. So I researched on starting my own restaurant. I researched on it. And I studied it to the T. I became a student. I didn't stop learning just because I didn't finish college. And so you have to remain a student. And as an entrepreneur, you want your business out there. If you want to make sales and you want to have a consistent flow in your income stream, then you have to become a student of marketing. That's the number one thing. So the fourth tip is you have to apply what you learn. You got to take action. You have to take action. Apply what you learn. When you learn something, don't be afraid to apply it. Maybe you'll mess up, you'll goof up. You may look stupid. You know, maybe your words aren't right. Maybe you misspell some things. Maybe it's not the way you anticipated, but at least you're taking action. And with students make mistakes. And so the only way to critique it, the only way to perfect it is to take action. Don't be afraid to execute. I keep telling people, I tell my clients all of the time, you can't be afraid to apply what you learn. Now you learn it, then you apply it. It means nothing to have so much information and not apply it. And so to become a successful entrepreneur, you can't be afraid to apply what you've learned. And I have had many times, I remember when I started one of my businesses, and I was so afraid. I had learned the business. I had been studying it, been researching it. I had everything on my website. And then I was just afraid to market it because I was afraid of what people may think. Well, guess what? What people thought wasn't putting money in my bank account. What people thought about my job, thought about my work ethic, thought about my products was not making deposits into my bank account. So what do you have to lose? Take action now. Take action. Apply what you learn and watch things flow from there. Because once you take action and apply what you learn, you're going to see a change, a shift quickly. I'll never forget when I applied something I learned. I took a course and I applied it. Guess what? I was getting multiple deposits in one day because I applied what I learned in my marketing. And so that's what you have to do. You can't be afraid to apply it. Okay. If you want to be successful, you cannot be afraid to apply it or afraid to take action. It's going to do something on the inside of you. You're going to feel like, whoa, like there's going to be this rush, but you're going to feel so fulfilled and so productive and just so you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. And there's nothing like taking something that you learn, applying it and watching the results come into fruition. There's no feeling like that. So apply what you learn. Don't be afraid to take action. I tell people all the time, be bold. You got to take courage and apply what you've learned. And then the fifth and the last, you just cannot be afraid. Don't give up. That's the fifth one. Don't give up. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how hard it seems. I don't care how much of a bad background you've had, a bad experience you had. Don't give up. Be bold. Don't give up. I don't care, because guess what? Even when you pause for a second, it's okay to pause for a second, regroup, recharge, refresh yourself, but don't give up. And I've had countless times where I've been tempted to give up. But guess what? I cannot be successful if I give up. I can't be successful and be the entrepreneur that God has called and created me to be if I give up. What good is that if I give up? So don't give up. You've got a long way to go. And at the end of the tunnel, I don't care if it's hard right now. I'm telling you, there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's times that I felt like, man, it's just not working. It's just not working. Just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. The key word is consistency. If you remain consistent, you'll see success. But a lot of people, they give up when things get hard. They give up when they don't see results, when they don't see the sales coming in, when they don't see people reacting to their product and services, and they give up. Don't allow that to deter you. So a quick recap. Number one, you got to decide. You got to be married to your vision, married to your business, married to what God has called you to do. Second, you can't dabble in it. You got to be all in. Either you're going to be all in or be all out. You make a decision. Number three, become a student of entrepreneurship. Become a student of marketing and branding your business. Number four, then apply what you've learned. Apply whatever you've learned. Execute. You got to execute. And the fifth one, just don't give up. Don't give up, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to this podcast. And thank you all who have committed to listening to this podcast weekly. I mean, we've come a long way and we're going a long way. And thank you for sharing this journey with me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing the podcast with others. I mean, I've noticed I've had listeners in multiple states, and I am just excited. Even my listeners in Hawaii, thank you. My listeners in Pennsylvania, my listeners in Pittsburgh, my listeners in Indianapolis and Gary, Indiana, and Maryville and Chicago, my listeners in New York. Oh my God. I have listeners, so many I can't even name, but I want to thank you guys, because I don't even know many of you, but I want to say thank you and I appreciate you. Let's continue to believe, be original, and live our dreams. Become a sponsor with Be Bold Radio by booking your commercial slot, advertising your business, organization, or products or services on our show. To find out more information, email us at beboldquarters@gmail.com. Again, that's beboldquarters@gmail.com. It's time for you to take your business to the next level. I'm noticing that many business owners, they have the tools, but they lack the exposure. And we at Be Bold Radio, we want to give you that opportunity to expose your business to over 5,800 listeners per week. Again, to find out more, email us at beboldquarters@gmail.com.